What I'm headed towards next, I'm headed towards a top dog camp, and those are kind of like boss characters. They're beefy and more significant, and they're the ones who drop the paint. They drop paint colors when I can defeat them. So that's actually my favorite content. I'm a really big fan of the combat system in this game, and just Avalanche's ability to let the player do a lot by actually having to let the player feel very empowered by doing little. I think they're really good at, for example, I'm driving, tearing ass around the wasteland, doing donuts, leaning out the window, firing a shotgun, firing a harpoon gun at moving vehicles, and it's actually all really fundamentally easy to do. I think you were mentioning something about, there's a lot going on, there's a lot happening, and Avalanche does a really good job of making a lot happen with layered controller functionality by attaching a lot of contextually sensitive commands to just a very few buttons. And they're really good at that.
So I guess walk us through kind of the fundamental controls here. Like how do you pull out weapons? Is the slow motion something that's initiated automatically? Like
anytime I engage with one of the, I know I'm getting
it's hard to talk and play at the same time, I think, with any game. So.
A little bit, yeah. The slow motion is used anytime I'm going to try to steal a vehicle or show you a little ground combat. Yeah. Anytime you go into one of the weapons that the Opus has, that'll go into slow motion. So that'll help you target and take a look at the enemies around you without having to forfeit control of the vehicle, without having you go careening off a cliff or a cliffside or something like that. Max is in trouble.
So I'm noticing there's sort of two separate health systems in a way, right? There's Max's health, which we see in the lower left corner there, and then there's sort of the vehicle health too, which is indicated through the smoke and fire pouring out of it.
Right, and you can also see on the right side of the screen. There's the Opus's HUD, so it has fuel to manage, and fuel is of course through driving, but also from using the flame pipes. That will consume fuel as well. So fuel's a resource you can typically find in an enemy war camp, and you can use it to refuel the Magnum Opus. All right, we got a little distracted. I'm gonna go try to find that enemy.
All right, cool. I mean, like some of my favorite moments in past Avalanche games have involved being on my way to one objective and then having so much happen to me that I forget what I was even doing in the first place. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Some of that good statue toppling tech. I
think that's that's just a great aspect of open world games, right? I'm on my way to do something, but I got distracted doing something else that was really fun for 3 hours or 4 hours.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
This game was developed by the core of the primary Avalanche team in Sweden, right?
That's right.
And then I guess in New York they're working on Just Cause 3 right now. How long has this game been in development? And do you have any insight into how the decision was made for this to be their next big budget follow-up to Just Cause?
Oh, that's a good question, man. You'd probably have to go way back to the beginning of development to really understand how those things work. But I know they just really wanted to make a Mad Max game and respect what's so great about Mad Max in this world. So I'm at an enemy camp right now, and you can crawl into the back of the Opus. It's really, the Opus is so much more than your car. It's your mobile fortress. And when it's not billowing smoke, I can look out of the back. You can even drive around in it while Max is in the back. Chum can do some driving and help you get to a strategic vantage point. Max is a really, really tough dude. He's really capable of handling himself, but he can be a little fragile. He's like really powerful, but also pretty fragile. So I think if I were to just head into this war camp right now, I would open myself up to all of these threats. But if you're strategic and you approach from afar, you can eliminate some threats before heading into an enemy camp. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just cleaning out some of the trash before I head into the camp.
And you were saying earlier that the ammunition is relatively limited. I'm noticing you've got like maybe 10 bullets left for the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
How many, do you have more weapons than just that right now? Can you hold a set number of weapons at a time?
Pretty much Max has the sniper rifle. As far as firearms go, Max has the sniper rifle in the Magnum Opus, and he has the shotgun in on foot. Okay. And both of those can be upgraded several times. So I've taken out some of the bigger enemies. I'm gonna go ahead and head into the camp. And when you get spotted by camp, it looks like we took out all the perimeter defenses. But if you don't take out the perimeter defenses in time, they will get buffed. They have a short period of time where they can. Oh no.
That's rough. And one interesting mechanic here that had never occurred to me before is when your vehicle is on the brink of being destroyed, and your buddy here is repairing it for you. It seems like part of what you have to do, because Max is so fragile, is kind of like hide out and use the car as cover so you don't get steamrolled.
Yeah, and what I was trying to do, I think, now I of course should probably spend a little of my resources going in and upgrading the Magnum Opus, and upgrading its armor, or that will keep happening. We're also being today we are kind of especially being rampaged by these war parties. It doesn't always happen. I can't even get into the car because it's so smoky right now. I can
And
let it.
it looks like the camp is gradually being alerted to your presence since this unexpected sort of emergent car battle has broken out in front of your mission.
Oh, almost. Okay, I just gotta get in. There's one more piece of perimeter defense. I think there's another sniper firing at me, but there's also a flamethrower in front. Oh my god, which the war party is just gonna push me right into. You gotta be kidding me, dude.
I mean, to me, this is the most exciting stuff in an open world game. Like, no moment in the past 3 minutes was predictable. It's all sort of stuff that's happened to you. I mean, I guess that would be a good time to talk about the hand-to-hand combat. Like, is it sort of a square to attack, triangle to counter system? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, pretty much. And you've got a roll that's factored in there as well, and you've got a bunch of different abilities that you can upgrade over time by investing scrap into Max. So everything about Max, I don't want to stay still for too long because I know another war party's like right around the corner. Or this guy right here. Whew. I got myself. Yeah,
That's awesome.
it happens. Yeah, so like I was saying about, I think Avalanche's ability to put a bot into a very limited controller scheme and not burden the player with doing tremendous amounts of finger acrobatics.
Sure.
You got it. It's square to attack, triangle to parry. The closer you nail the parry to its the move being executed, you have a chance to get a perfect parry, which opens up Max's combat for reversals and more devastating strikes. There are finishing attacks that you can chain onto the end of a combo, and you can also take enemies to the ground and do attacks on the ground as well. All right, we've got full health, and we're gonna make another go at this. We're gonna do it right this time. And when I say we, I mean me, because it was all my fault.
So there's this sort of flamethrower thing that's guarding this base camp, and your approach seems like to get around is just grappling hook the tank that's fueling it. And
Yeah.
get back.
There's typically, if you look around, there's a couple entrances to a camp as well. So I'm not sure if this camp has a secret entrance, but there's also typically a more stealth enabled entrance for Max.
The other sort of option is you can kind of brute force your way through this fence by ramming into it over and over, right?
You can ram, you can harpoon it and pull it off its hinges. Typically, there's a couple ways to deal with it. But I'm in through brute force.
It's so much easier without like that enormous war party on your tail.
Yeah. And now we're going to get a real chance to look at hand-to-hand. So see the guy running at me has a weapon. We're going to take it away from him.
What are the controls for how do you pick up a weapon?
The X button is a particularly context-sensitive button.
Gotcha.
And holding it will enable Max to pick anything up in the game. And then typically, you saw a different context for it right there, a shiv punisher. Max has a limited number of shivs that he carries in his ammo belt. And you can open up opportunities to use those. And that's an instant kill on an enemy at the forfeit of a piece of rather...
So something that I've noticed, and it's actually a trend that I like, is there's sort of this type of third-person combat that's kind of become de facto Warner Brothers combat, I think, at this point, between Batman and Shadow of Mordor. So when a game like this is in development, is that something that Avalanche comes to you with, saying, like, hey, we'd like to adapt this style of combat for our particular style of game, or is it something that comes from the publisher down? Like, what's the structure, I guess, there?
That's a good question, man. And honestly, I haven't worked on the project long enough to have insight into how combat came into the game. But certainly a focus was on crowd control, taking on large swarms of enemies at a time, and being able to deal fluidly with large threats.
I'm noticing that you're getting ability pop-ups here that seem to sort of give you buffs on your weaponry. Are those determined by, like, the upgrade tree?
Yeah, and we'll take a look at those really quick. This is water. Water is the... Again, Max is pretty fragile. He can carry water with him. It's his only replenishable health source that he can carry with him. Otherwise, he'll find maggots and dog food throughout the wasteland, which he can eat, but those are in limited supply, and he can't take them with him.
I like this drummer here.
Yeah, that's the War Crier, and he's gonna buff all the enemy units if I don't take care of them in time.
Uh-huh.
I'll show you real quick Max's legend. Max has he has 100 levels that he can climb through on his way to Road Warrior, and you can see his abilities labeled there in the middle. Longevity, metabolism, essence. Those are all things that give passive and active abilities. So things as simple as health or volition, which will give Max additional scrap anytime he picks up scrap. So anytime you're seeing those little notifications, that has to do with how my legend has been affected by the Griffa coins that I've spent. Griffa coins are the progression coin currency that I'll pick up in the game for completing certain objectives. And I can spend Griffa coins with Griffa. He's the mystic drifter that Max will find throughout the wasteland that allows him to level up. I just activated Fury. The longer you can keep a combo going, the quicker you're going to enable the Fury mode, which as you can guess, gives Max additional damage, wider parry windows, lets him sustain more damage. So we're making our way to my favorite top dog in the game. His name is Rimjobby.
Okay. Yeah, between Rimjobby and Scrota, some of the naming in here has been it stands out a bit. Is this where did the writing side of this game come from? Was that internal at Avalanche? Like,
oh, this game has a brilliant writer. His name is even perfect. His name is Odd. The man who wrote a lot of the dialogue for the game, his name is Odd, and from the way that all the characters speak, especially Chumbucket says some really amazing stuff, and it's all very. He kind of speaks like I don't know, man, like almost like a preacher or a pastor. He's very, very eloquent and is incredibly articulate, and everything he speaks about is he relates to angels and the heavens. He calls Max Saint.
Huh. I mean, just based on the little I've seen here today, like, and coming hot off the heels of watching Fury Road the other day, I feel like this is all incredibly on brand for the universe. Like, this is exactly how I felt like everyone in the movie was speaking, with this weird mix of, like, jargony nonsense slang from this universe and really, like you said, eloquent word choice, like, kind of, or I guess more elegant than you'd expect for a universe this grimy.
Yeah.
It seems like it's reflected here as well.
Yeah, there is something about it, right? There's something about that juxtaposition of these guys that attach doll heads to the fronts of their vehicles and spikes to everything else, yet they speak in like 4-syllable words frequently. There's something about the juxtaposition of it all that makes the world a really compelling place. And back to what we were talking about, you know, how do you create the universe? How does Avalanche make this experience? I think they've really nailed what is indicative of the Mad Max experience in the universe. So here's Rimjobby. He's a pretty beefy dude. I never get tired of the armor and the weaponry in this game. That everybody is just working with the pastiche of cobbled together car parts.
So this is interesting because this is very much a hand-to-hand based mini boss encounter, right? But then there are also equivalents of boss encounters out in the world on, like, in your vehicle, right?
Right. So like the convoy leaders, you could call boss encounters. And most of these top dogs are optional, except for this guy. The mission we're on right now is we have to build a specific make of the Magnum Opus. Chumbucket has what he calls Archangels. These are blueprints for, holy vehicles, holy configurations of car components to create, basically, different loadouts, either if you want to roll in a tank, or something that's really spry, or something that just has the most adept weaponry. Those are the Archangels, and you can look to those to really find a playstyle in the Magnum Opus that suits what you'd like to accomplish. And the way we learn about the Archangels is through this particular mission that tasks us with building one. We're trying to build the speed demon, and we want the chrome paint that Rimjobby has, so we have to beat him to get it. And then if the player wants other customization options for the Magnum Opus, they can take on other. Friendly fire is always on, so when enemies are around,
You can lure him into the fire.
yeah, you can lure them into environmental hazards. You can lure them into each other. If there were grunts around, you could bet that Rimjobby would be knocking them to the floor right now. Oh, gotta play it safe, Max.
And you can drink water as a way to restore health, right?
Yeah, and there's a risk reward to it. It takes time, so you definitely leave yourself open to
It's a weird point of comparison, but the way that you describe the water health system almost reminds me of something like Dark Souls. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the different directions that Avalanche seems to pull into